Hey guys, it's Jen, and I am here to do an ARC review of Shari Lapena's latest, She Didn't See It Coming, which comes out July 29th. First, I want to thank Pamela Dorman Books, which is an imprint of Penguin Random House, for allowing me access to the electronic ARC in order to read and talk about it. ARC is advanced reading copy, and I was very much appreciative of getting a chance to read this because I am a huge Shari Lapena fan. And I have to say, I devoured this book. I originally tried starting this a month ago, I think it was, and I had so many other books I had to read that I unfortunately had to put it down for a little while. And I just picked it up, I think it was 2 days ago, like 48 hours ago, and I couldn't put it down. It kept me riveted. I'm pretty sure this is my favorite Shari Lapena book now. Before this, Stranger in the House was my favorite one, but this one just grabbed hold of me and I was racing to the end because I really wanted to know what happened. So this one is about the married couple Bryden and Sam. They do have a 3-year-old toddler at home, and at the very beginning you see Bryden and she ends up in a situation in a small traffic accident that ends up being a part of the book. And I can't say much because I don't want to ruin it. Really quickly, you see that something had happened to Bryden, and that had happened, I think it said 7 weeks earlier. Then you jump to 7 weeks later and you find out that Bryden is missing. She was supposed to pick up her daughter from daycare, and her husband gets a call saying that Bryden never picked up their daughter, and so he has to go pick her up. And you don't know what to think because, as most thrillers, you end up suspecting everybody because you never know who the real killer is going to be. Sometimes it's more than one person. You then end up meeting a lot of different characters. You have the main detective, who is, you see a lot from her perspective because she is trying to figure out what happened to Bryden. You meet Bryden's sister, Lizzie. You meet her parents. You meet some of the neighbors because they live in this very ritzy type apartment building, and it's in Albany, New York. They're never actually sure that Bryden left the building, and they're trying to find Bryden and find clues as to what happened so that they can try and get to her before something happens. For some reason, I noticed in this latest by Shari more than I did her other books, but I'm pretty sure she uses this method in every one of her books because you do see from a multitude of perspectives, and it keeps you guessing, it keeps you on your toes because you're also getting new information and plot twists throughout until the very end. And I realized she uses third person omniscient, and I would almost say like third person selective omniscient, because you don't always get exactly what's going on with some of the characters, and it helps you get sucked in and guessing as to if they are somebody that has something to do with what's going on. It also leaves you with, and this is what I was going to talk about, I also feel like you end up feeling like a detachment. It doesn't feel as emotionally invested sometimes because there is such detachment with characters in third person. And it stuck out to me in this one, but I still was completely invested and sucked in. I just thought that it was weird that I noticed it in this one because I know she has done it in the rest of her books. Last year, I wasn't as big of a fan of her book that was last summer. That one was called What Have You Done? And then the summer before that, there was one called Everyone Here Is Lying. And at first, because of the third person omniscient, I feel like that was probably what was bothering me about that book, because I remember thinking like something just was bothering me about it. But that book has stuck with me. I really enjoyed that one because I feel like there were just some crazy elements to that book especially the ending. And I think that one's a really good book by her too. And speaking of some crazy elements, I feel like this one, as you're getting more and more information, what she does really well is put such a highlight on how bad human behavior and some humans basically are in this world. Because a lot of this stuff, you think, oh my God, this can't possibly happen, or people aren't really like this. But there are stories in the news all the time, and you see it on like true crime documentaries, you see it in 2020 episodes and Nightline and all of those things. And you see, or I meant Dateline, not Nightline, Dateline. You see that people are like this. And I think Shari really encapsulates that a lot in her books, and this one in particular. And there was a quote on the outside by Lucy Foley that said something to the effect of Shari Lapena is at the peak of her game and loved this book. And I have to agree, this one was good. It had me. I did not guess the ending, but you keep getting information throughout the book. So it's almost like you keep changing what you think is happening. And there are a couple times where I kept thinking, it has to be this, it has to be this. I think she's just trying to throw me off the trail of who I thought it was going to be. And no, it wasn't who I thought it was. And I do feel like it was a pretty big plot twist of what actually happens-ish. I don't know. I feel like it was just another highlight on some really bad human behavior. But the biggest plot twist was, I don't feel like anything would top Everyone Here Is Lying from a couple years ago. That book, I feel, was just, the ending to that was just really great. If you love domestic thrillers and you love thrillers at all, if you have read Shari Lapena, you will definitely love this. If you have read any of Shari's, I feel like she has really upped her game in this one. If you haven't tried her yet, there are so many ones you can choose. I mean, this one would be perfect if you want to pick this one up when it comes out. But I've read The Couple Next Door, Stranger in the House, which had been my favorite one for a long time, but I think this one has toppled it. Of course, the one I keep mentioning, Everyone Here Is Lying. And then Last Summer's I wasn't as big of a fan of, and that one was called What Have You Done? I gave this 4 stars. I think the only reason why I didn't give it, it would even be like a little over 4 stars. The only reason why I didn't give it 5 stars is it was just kind of bothering me about when I realized the third person omniscient. I just feel like there's such a detachment when you're reading from that perspective, as much as it helps to jump around to the characters and get everyone's perspective on what is happening. There are definitely positives to using the third person omniscient, but you also have the negative side where you are feeling just, I don't know, you feel like a detachment from the characters, the only way I want to put it. And I feel like, I don't know if there was another way she could have done it without it. I mean, I just enjoyed this book so much, and it was pretty damn close to being a 5-star book for me. I just absolutely love this book. Thanks so much for watching my ARC review of Shari Lapena's new book, She Didn't See It Coming. It comes out July 29th. You absolutely will want to read this. All thriller fans, I feel like you would want to read this, especially if you love domestic thrillers. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time.